How y'all doing, everybody? Lev Farmer 73 here. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let me see. I'm never ready when I should be ready. All right. So, I want to have a conversation. And if it's not a conversation, I want to say my piece. Guava. I wanted to do a StreamYard, but I don't think it would have worked out. How you doing? It's my Renaissance grandma. How you doing? Let me cut a light on. Let's try that. Cause it will be dark here soon. Okay. My Renaissance grandma, Driven Fortitude, Shawanda, Fatima, Natalie, Michelle Law, Lulu, how you doing? Miko, C. Francis, Jennifer, Aunt Ford Barbecue, how you doing? Adina Collins, K. Natural, CC Wins, how y'all doing? Around the Way Garden, Karen, okay, Francine, Marvell, how you doing? Let's see, Sacred Homemaker, how are we doing today? You're gonna hear a lot more of this stuff from me because I think it is necessary that I don't care where you hear the information from, just get the information, okay? So I'm gonna do my part by keep on stating the obvious. How you doing, C. Woods? How you doing, Paula? Shamira Customs, Bigfoot, how you doing? It's good to see y'all in here. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna get right into it because I really don't want this to stretch out because, you know, I don't want to do that to you today. If I have to, I will, but family, Eddie Morrison, Gratitude, Grace Garden. Yeah. Elizabeth, how you doing? Bougie Prepper, how you doing, my sister? Let me get right into this real quick. If we do not change, we are doomed. Miss Shirley OG Gardner, how you doing? That's OG for sure. All right, y'all. If we don't change, this isn't necessary. Today, we ain't gonna talk about land ownership and all that business to a point, okay? I do want to talk about the truth, the actual pure truth, because what I'm seeing today in today's time, the truth is not pushed. The truth is not pushed in the algorithm. The truth is not pushed in society. You know, everybody wants to be entertained and everybody wants a good lie. People love a good lie. They love a good fictional story. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody like a nice good book here and there. But for the most part, every blue moon, we got to chill on the fiction and you know, consume a little truth. Hey, She Natural Homestead, how you doing? Adina Collins, how you doing? Scuba, how you doing? If we don't change, we're doomed. This has been being said, at least that I know of, since the 50s. That I know, okay? I know it's been before that, but I know for a fact that there has been things put in place that has been destroyed, and I'm not going to talk about that, but there has been organizations put in place to help us change for the better, and those organizations were destroyed by outside entities. But we ain't going to talk about that either. That's a whole nother video. If we don't change, we're going to fail, and we're going to be back where we started from, and I mean it, in bondage. I mean it. All right, and I'm going to start like this. We're doing it all backwards. I had a long talk with my sons, and I hope you have these talks with your children too. Both of my sons sat with me the other day, and I just can't get that conversation out of my head. That conversation went a little bit like this in a nutshell. My youngest son is the most worried. Out of all three of my children, my youngest seems to be on the level of knowing we're doing this wrong. Bougie Prepper, I met your son. He is like my youngest son. He knows we're doing this wrong. Now, I met him personally, and I know Bougie Prepper's son is like, oh, yeah, we're doing this backwards after I showed him what I showed him. So you're probably wondering, what am I talking about? How you doing, Sylvia? Yes, Bougie. Let me give it to y'all like this. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to let y'all play a game with me so it'll make my point a little easier. When you're 15, 16 years old, what was your first car? I don't care if your mother and father bought it for you. I don't care if you bought it for yourself. Everybody, this is a fun part of this video, so you better play with me, okay? Because it's about to get ugly in a minute. What was your first car? Everybody, I want to hear what your first vehicle was. I don't care if it was a motorcycle, a bicycle, but what was your first car? I'm going to name them off too. We got a Toyota Tercel. I ain't heard that in forever. Ooh, a Datsun Z80, a 280Z, a Chevy Vega. Oh, a Volkswagen Rabbit. Oh my God, a Saturn Ion base. Let me see, a Toyota Corolla, a Gremlin. Woo! Mustang, Miss Shirley OG. That was your first car, Mustang, Miss Shirley OG Gardner. Volkswagen. Okay, Toyota Corolla, Adina Collins, 76 Chevy Malibu, my Renaissance grandma. Everybody, if you're just coming in the room, I want to know, what was your first vehicle? What was the first car that you had and you owned? It was yours. The first car you drove. John says a 1970 AMX. Woo! Yeah, you saying something now. Okay, Marvell said an Acura two-door. Okay. Let me see. Kenyatta's Journey, a Delta 88. Mine too. Oldsmobile was a 79, a 1979 Oldsmobile Delta 88. Woo! Okay. Second floor gardens, I'm waiting on you. Gratitude Grace said my first car was a yellow Ford Pinto. Ooh. Sylvia, a 1964 Dodge Dart. Nita Scobie says a Chevy Vega. Okay. Around the Way Garden says Isuzu. One Mark. Okay, I'm not familiar, but I know it's Isuzu. Let's see. Paula says an old two-tone Toyota Crisada. I'm not familiar with that one. The movie, then a Ford Maverick. Karen, a Pinto. C. Francis, a Hyundai Excel, fully equipped CD changer with a cell. I get you. I had one of those, but that wasn't my first. Okay. Whole and Rooted, a 96 Winger. I'm not familiar with that. Essence Visible Oldsmobile Cutlass. Nice. Everybody that's coming in the room, I am asking everybody, what was the first vehicle that you drove? There is a point to all of this. CC Wins, a 1976 Toyota Corolla. There's a lot of Toyotas out there, ain't it? C Woods, a Ford Escort GT. Okay, let's see. Scuba says a VW. What kind of Volkswagen? A CP says a Ford Escort. Ooh. Entrepreneurial says a Toyota Yaris. So you must be kind of young, because that's fairly new, if you understand what I'm saying. Let me see. Oh, Erica says a Pontiac Catalina. Oh, now this video is taking a turn because this is hilarious. Fuzzy B says a Pontiac Grand Prix. Milka, if that's your name, a Ford Taurus. Okay. Cheryl Justice says a Ford Fairlane 1968. Okay. Landy Akers said, no, I don't want to know what your aunt had. I want to know what was your first car. Jay Wilson says a Ford LTD. Ooh, cold. I wonder what year it was. Priscilla says a Dodge Neon. You must be fairly young. A Dodge Neon was your first car? 2C Duckett says Pontiac Grand Am GT. Wow, that was one of my favorite cars in the world. Fatima, my father had that car. Fatima says a Ford Taurus 1988. I had that car. Sacred Homemaker 91 Celica. Ooh, I remember that because I used to be a bag boy in that at that time. Karen says a Pinto 1976. Michelle Law, a 1970 Pontiac Catalina. What's your name? L.A. Watkins, a 1981 Ford Mustang. Okay. Truth says first drove a Ford Fairmont. Okay. Oh, working man says a 1969 Buick LeSabre. Good God. Sean does it all. 1997 Nissan Sentra. That's a lot of ain't it? A 1997 Nissan Sentra. Boy, that's a spit sandwich for you right there. 1979 Riga, Velc says. Whole and Rooted says a correction, a 1998 Oldsmobile Alero. Woo! Okay. YS says a 1992 Mercedes 180. This video may not be for you. Okay. Amia says 1968 Ford Torino. All right. Ford Maverick, black with red interior. D.A. Smith, 1982 Cutlass Supreme. This is meaning something, so keep them coming. Tracy, Ford Galaxy 500 two-door. I had a 1964 Ford Galaxy XL. I understand what you're talking about. Let me see. Strange Time says first car was a 79 Cutlass Supreme with T-tops. Scuba says, let me see. Okay, keep going. Let me see. Okay, Lemonade says a Honda Prelude. Ant for Barbecue, a Chevy Cavalier. Wow, that was hilarious. All right, Fatima, a Chrysler LeBaron. Believe it or not, that was my second car. MH, 1972 Plymouth Duster. Samantha, okay, got you. Said a Dodge Shadow with a stick shift. I kind of remember it and I kind of don't. Let me see. Jennifer says a Mazda. A Mazda what? Let me see. Bro Stacy says a 1985 Chevy. I don't know what any of that is. I'm sorry. Dodge Shadow. Okay. All right. Honda. Shiloh says a 1998 Honda Civic. A 1989 Buick LeSabre. Let's keep it going. All right. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining in and telling me what your first car was. What was your first car? I thank you all for telling me because it's significant. It's very significant. I only saw one, maybe two names of cars that didn't belong in this whole list that was spoken here. Now I'm going to ask you another question. Everybody, I'm going to ask you another question. Do you think, here's another one. What happened to that car? Did it get tore up? Did you ever crash it? Did you ever wreck it? Did you ever back into somebody? Did you ever run it up against the side of the house by accident? Did you ever hit a pole in the grocery store? Did you ever have a little fender bender? You just bumped into somebody? Did you run over a grocery cart? I know. Did you hit a curb and knock the hubcaps off? Did you almost kill yourself in your first car? I would like to know that. The reason I'm asking you this. One more question. How much was your first car? How much did you pay for your first car? How much, if you can remember, how much did you pay for your first car? I should have asked that next. How much did you pay for your first car? 3 grand, 1,800, 200, 300, 300, 500. Everybody that's coming in the room, how much did you pay for your first car? 400, 3,000, 1,500, 200, 300, 1,800. Sunflowers, you paid $10,000 for your first car? Okay. Earth Shines is $50. Sacred Homemaker, $2,100. Lulu, $800. $450 I see. $300. $495. $1,500. If you can remember how much you paid for your very first car, please tell me now. Everybody that's saying higher numbers, I know you're young. Because back then, cars, you could get a nice car for $300 or $400, $500. $1,200, $600, $7,500, $800, $900, $1,800, $1,500. My first car was $1,500 for me. $1,800, $1,500, $1,400, $3,700. You must be young, Lemonade Life. $25, $650, $6,000, $500, $10,000. You must be young. Say no, you was gifted for graduation. Okay, $400, $1,500, $200, $2,900, $500. This is all significant to this video. $600, $1,500. Everybody, thank you so much for answering those simple questions. I want to say thank you because it's very significant to everything I'm talking about. Because only you know what happened to that car. Even if you never spoke of it, you know you crashed into something, you ran over something, you hit a handful of squirrels, you may ran up on a curb and didn't tell nobody that you wrecked the car and you told them something else happened to it. Somebody must have hit you in the parking lot at school, or somebody must have hit you in the parking lot at work, whatever. But you know, and you don't have to speak on it, but you know that didn't go right. It don't matter what kind of car you had. It don't matter any of that. You know bad things happened in that first car that taught you how to drive your second car. Am I right? Your first car is a practice car. By the time you're done with your first car, if you're still alive, and completely, obviously you must be alive because you're here with me. So your first car was to teach you what to and what not to do with your second car. Because your second car gonna cost you some real money. Your third car, you're gonna have to end up taking a bank loan out for. You get in a relationship and get married, now you're gonna have your car and your wife or your husband's car. You will end up probably being a 2-car family, correct? So you know as well as anybody else, your first car was pretty much made to be destroyed to a certain degree. Can we agree on that? All of us crashed our car. I don't care if it was just a dent or you busted the window out, it don't matter. You did something stupid because you didn't know. Or you did something stupid because you weren't aware. Something bad happened to your car and you when you in your first car because you just didn't know. You didn't have the experience. You only been driving for 6 months or a year, and you may have backed into something or ran into something, or you didn't put no oil in the car. You didn't put no fuel in it. Something happened with that first car that made it not look or operate like when you first got it. Can we all agree on that? Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. Okay. How many people would purchase their child, watching me, the people watching me, how many people would purchase their child $1 million Lamborghini for their first car? How many people would purchase $1 million Lamborghini for your child's first car? Even if you had the money, Would you purchase your child that just got their driver's license a week ago? Would you buy them a $1 million Lamborghini? Or would you buy them a Bentley Phantom, coupe, drop top, Ricky Rose? I will accept a hell no for $10, Alex. Okay. You are more than welcome to say hell no here. And if YouTube blocks it out, I will bring it back up. Okay? If it blocks it out, I will even allow you to put hell no in all caps. Okay? In this video, I will allow you to say hell no and put it in all caps if you want to. The question was, if you missed it, would you purchase your child that just got their driver's license last week or a month ago a brand new $1 million Lamborghini, even if you had the money? Hey, Sun Energy. Hell to the no. Hell no. To the no, no, no. Say it again. Hell no. To the no, no, no. All right. I think we are all on one page with saying hell no. You would not buy your child a car. You have a set price for your child. You have a set price in your head of about how much money in today's money is what you're going to spend on a car. And in today's time, you like, I'm not going to spend over $4,900, $5,000 for a car for this kid about to tear it up. In today's time, that's the new $500. It's $5,000. You ain't gonna pretty much get too much anything that's safe under that price anymore. Okay. Here's my point. If everybody in here, and there's 365 people watching me, 374 people watching me, if 374 people are telling me ain't no damn way in piping hot hell you would purchase your child a $1 million Lamborghini. Hell, you wouldn't purchase your child a $80,000 car. You wouldn't buy your child a $75,000 car. Come on, you wouldn't buy your child a $40,000 car in 2026. You are probably gonna go to Pull Apart and look at their little car lot first, where they selling cars for like $19.99. And they got to put a little work in. The bumper might be in the trunk. They might have to add on some wheels or something. You're going to do that first before you start getting all the way up to $5,000. Okay? My point is this. We're doing it wrong. If everybody in here says, hell no, I wouldn't buy my child a $1 million car, a $80,000 car, a $75,000 car, not even a $50,000 car. Because they're young, they're inexperienced, they're not responsible, they are going to mess up. In a nutshell, that's my point. Your child is going to mess up. So we as parents and guardians make sure that child gets a safe car that they can safely tear up. Their heart might be crushed when they crunch that bumper in, but we already knew what was going to happen. No matter how much they love that car, we knew they were going to tear it up, not because they're idiots, because they don't have the proper experience. Right? Okay. So why on God's green earth do we expect our children, when they become 18 years old, why do we expect our children to be any smarter or any more educated or any more responsible when it comes to going out in this world and purchasing a $300,000 home? a $200,000 home, a $150,000 home. Why did that just change? Why did we make it so hell no, I'm not going to buy you a freaking $50,000 car, $100,000 car? That's insane. You're going to tear it up. You're going to mess up everything. You're going to kill yourself. Why all of a sudden in our brain we think it's okay for your child to go out in the world and buy a $300,000 house? We initiate it. We promote it, don't we? We say you need to go out there and get you a house, get yourself going, da 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 da. What happened? What changed? Because even though they may not get in a car accident and be bodily injured, they will end up being financially ruined if they go out there and not know what they're doing and purchase a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 home. Because me and you as parents and guardians know when they see a sucker coming, they gonna lick you. When the salesman see a sucker coming, they'll sell your kid that just got their first credit card. They will sell that kid that Bugatti. They will sell your child a Mercedes Benz. They'll see that college ID and that first credit card. They don't care what the credit score is. They know they got that kid by the balls. And they'll squeeze it in the juice. When they see a kid coming with a house, they're going to do the same thing. It's no different. So we have made it where we're guiding our children into a realm of despair that we're already going through. We're already going through generational torment because of what our parents did. Our parents told us, son, this is what you got to do. Get a good job, go get you a house, go get you a car, get you a woman, have a couple kids and a dog. Do your work, stay at that job for 30, 40 years, retire, and take it easy. That is the blueprint that we've been given. That's the blueprint that we keep being given every single generation. Am I right or am I wrong? That is called an upstanding citizen. That is the American dream. That is what we are told to do. That's the good guy. That's the good guy that goes out and do that. Am I right or am I wrong? We're doing it wrong. What we should be doing is doing it totally opposite of that. Why, when we send our kids out in the world, we give them the most expensive things to destroy? And one of the things is their financial backing, their credit, their record. We send them out in the world to have that destroyed and removed. Once your credit record is destroyed, once your financial record is destroyed, you literally spend the rest of your life trying to fix it. All of the money that you earn goes into paying for this house. All of the money that you earn goes into maintaining this house. All the money that you earn goes into staying out of bankruptcy court. All the money that you earn trying to keep out of divorce court for a financial problem. All this is bringing this stress down on you, because the more you got to work, the less you can be home with your wife and your kids. And that's going to bring a rift between you and your wife. No matter what, it all stems back to we pushed them out into this world ass backwards. The reason why my thumbnail is the blind leading the blind picture of me and my wife is because that's exactly what we're doing. All we're doing, we got screwed over. So all we're doing is teaching our kids how to get screwed over. We send them out in this world with what we've been through. The only thing we do, the only thing we make sure, hey, don't have no babies too soon. Other than that, we don't say nothing else. We go out and teach our kids the exact same thing that was taught to us, which ain't much. And this ain't no disrespect on nobody elders. It's just the truth, because we've all been taught something for generations, for hundreds of years. We've been taught how to obey, how to be an upstanding citizen, which is obeying. That's what we've been taught. So it seemed to keep us out of jail and keep us from being arrested and keep us from getting in trouble. So we thought it worked. So we said it must work pretty good. So I'm going to teach this to my children too. So I'm going to teach my kids, get a job, keep your head down, stay away from the police, don't talk to strangers, don't take no wood and nickels. We're going to teach our kids the same thing. Don't have babies too soon. Don't lay up with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Sue, and Jane. We tell our kids that part, but we don't tell them because we don't know. We've been doing the whole thing freaking butthole backwards all of our lives. We in our 50s, 60s, and 70s, and you don't realize until you hit your 50s, 60s, and 70s that you've been doing everything wrong because you're still working. You're still grinding. You are not comfortable. You are not relaxed. You are still worried about and you still got somebody you got to pay, or else they coming to holler at you. That's not no way to retire. Right? So, we're doing it backwards. And somebody said high school don't teach you finances because they need you to obey. They're not going to teach you a finance class. And I had a finance class in high school, and it was horrible. You know what they taught me how to do in my finance class in high school? They taught me how to balance a checkbook. I spent all quarter doing that. They taught you how to balance a checkbook, how not to overdraft. That's all I was taught. They taught you about interest rates in the bank. Everything was taught to me was about dealing with a bank. Other than that, there was no financial education whatsoever. They just basically told you, don't be out there bouncing checks or you go to jail. See, that's another one from the system. So if you wouldn't buy your child, their first car to be a Mercedes that's going to cost about $80,000, why would you think it's okay for your child to go out in the world and purchase a $90,000 house, $100,000, $200,000 home, just so they can go into financial ruin? We're doing it wrong. And it has to stop, or we're going to be doomed. We're already in bad trouble. So I was talking to my two sons. My youngest son is really on it. He's not playing. He's like, when I get out of school, Dad, I'm moving on the land. This is what I'm talking about. We got to change the way we do the system. Instead of the system using us and taking advantage of us, we need to switch that over and take advantage of the system and make the system work for us. And you probably wondering, how? I know how. And I'm going to use myself as an example. My father owned properties when I was younger, and I've talked about this before, and I'm going to keep on talking about it. My father owned properties. And how did my father make it so I'm not going to get caught up paying back then $800, $500, $700 for an apartment full of roaches and rats in the ghetto? My father let me stay in one of the properties. He said, you only got to pay $250 rent. You maintain the grass, you maintain the home, and anything serious happen to it, you talk to me and we'll split it down the middle. There was a many a day at that age I couldn't afford $250 in the 80s. That was a lot of money, okay? $250 for rent. I couldn't pay it. But my father said, I'll get it to me later. See what he did? He would show his dismay and he would threaten me, but he wouldn't put me out. He would let me know this the last time that's gonna happen. But my father said that 100 times, because it was more than 100 times where I'm late on the rent. Only got half the rent. I don't got no rent. What I'm trying to tell you is he gave me a head start in life and let me see the world in a different way. And what he was trying to do was give me that head start, not to go into the system. We owned that house free and clear. He had the deed in his hand. We didn't owe nothing on that house except for land taxes. So what my dad was trying to do and what he was trying to tell me was, I'm giving you this so you don't have to start out there. So what my whole family called that was the starter house. My brother lived in that house before me. My sister lived in that house before me. Then I lived in that house. And he gave all of us, except for my youngest sister, a head start because she didn't need it. She went off to the military. But all of my siblings had that head start. We all was able to start our lives out in the practice house, the starter house, living away from mom and dad, but you're under mom and dad's rule. My father tried to show me, I'm going to do with you, with this world, the same way I did when I gave you your first car. My father went half. He paid half for me for my first car. The car was $1,500, and he made me pay my little $800 that I had in my, he gave, more than half, you know. But I tore that car up. Ever so slowly, but I tore it up. And with that house, the plumbing went bad. Electrical went bad. Couple windows got busted. People broke in. They destroyed parts of the house. And I did everything in my power to learn electrical work, learn plumbing, learn carpentry. I learned a lot. I learned demolition. I learned a lot with that house. That house made it and helped me to purchase myself my very first home that I purchased. So I moved away from that house with about 3 years worth of knowledge of what not to do with the second house. Things to look out for. Things to make sure this house got a security system in it, you know. This house, buy a lawnmower. My point is this. We're sending our kids out in the world to make the same horrible mistakes that we made. And that's not cool. We keep sending, listen, generation after generation after generation, we keep doing this. And guess what? It hasn't worked yet. Us teaching our kids to fail like we failed, and don't take it personally. I mean what I say. We failed. And we failed our next generation. We failed. I don't care how nice and good you think you got it, but you don't. You got to go to work in the morning. You in your 40s, you in your 50s, you in your 60s, you in your 70s, and you got to figure out how you're going to pay the light bill. You got to figure out how you're going to pay the rent. You got to figure out how you're going to pay the mortgage. You got to figure out how you're going to pay the taxes. You got to figure out something about money. When I say you failed, that's what I mean. You failed. Because you're still worried to death about the 1st and the 15th of the month. When all the utilities start to come out and when all them short checks come out. We're depending on something or somebody else to help us through that. So we've taught our children to do that too. What we need to do is change it. We need to buy our children or set in place our children. That's why I say when I talk about purchasing land, it don't gotta be for you. It does not have to be for you. It needs to be a starter, a head start for your kids to come out of this system that has been put in place to literally enslave the human race. And this one doesn't have a race barrier on it. This one is put in place to enslave the white folks, black folks, Mexican, brown, you name it. This system is put in place to keep you right where you are. As soon as you get out of college, that's who you will always be. They do not want you to move any further than that. They do not want you to supersede them because you already done figured out this is rigged. They don't want you to have enough power to reach back and bring somebody up. Oh no, we see that here on YouTube. Start talking about too much truth and they'll blacklist you. We need to give our kids practice houses. How do you do that, Led? You do that by purchasing some land. Letting your kid put a shed on it. Because they can afford a shed. They can afford a cabin. They can afford a mobile home. A mobile home used costs you $15,000, $20,000. A brand new home anywhere in the ghetto gonna cost you $150,000 on up. I would rather my kid take a chance on a $20,000 investment than a $150,000 investment. With a $20,000 investment, we can find that money if you get locked up in a pinch. We can't find that money if you sitting here with a $1,200 mortgage every month. The family can't chip in that much. If we buy a plot of land and you let your kids put a cabin on that land, you just gave your child a head start. You just bought $3,000 worth of solar power generators and solar panels. They got free energy. You sat there and dug a well and put a rain catchment system on their cabin. You gave them free water, free energy. Now I want to put this in your head. I want you to think about how much you could accomplish if you didn't have none of the overhead bills that you have right now. I know everybody make pretty decent money. Please, let's be honest. Even if you broke, we say we broke because we know our money is going to be gone by the end of the month. You earn a decent wage, but you owe somebody all that money. I want you to imagine, and I want you to think, how much money would you save every month if you didn't have any rent? If you didn't have a mortgage? I want y'all to put out a pen and a paper, and I want you to write these numbers down in your head or write it on a paper. How much you would save yourself if you didn't have to pay rent? How much would you save yourself if you didn't have to pay a mortgage? How much would you save if you didn't have a light bill or a power bill, your energy bill? How much money would you save a month if you didn't have a gas bill? How much money would you save a month if you didn't have a heating bill? How much money would you save a month if you didn't have a water bill? How much money would you save a month if you could cut down on your grocery bill, your food bill? How much money could you save a month if you didn't have to pay such a high healthcare insurance rate? Because we're paying for healthcare insurance. We're paying for our groceries every month. We're paying for our energy, our power, electricity bill. We're paying our rent or mortgage. We're paying for a gas utility bill. We're paying for a heating bill. We're paying for a water bill. You're paying for a cooling bill for your air conditioning, your HVAC. I didn't add automobile because that's a given. How much could you accomplish if you could save that money every single month? For the money that I just told you that comes out of your pocket, pay attention. for the money that you just calculated up in 30 days that comes out of your pocket is the land taxes on a nice piece of land with a house on it. The amount of money in taxes, that's more than per month. That's more than I pay taxes on this house with this 2 acres of land. Than the house that I'm in. So the money, we don't have to count taxes because that's only a 30-day of savings for you. We don't got to count land taxes. Now, I want you to imagine this because I'm seeing 4,000. I'm seeing 500. Sylvia said I would be saving 500. Oh, utilities 500. Okay. $5,000, $4,000 you would be saving. I see somebody saying they'll be saving $3,200 a month. Now I want you to calculate that times 12. How much would you save? I see a $1,500 a month. Now I want you to calculate all of what you calculated up and what you pay out every month. How much? I'll multiply that times 12 because that's your year. That's 12 months. How much would you save a year if you didn't have to worry about any of that? One month that you pay out is a full-fledged solar power generator system with panels and all. This $5,000 is an EcoFlow Delta Pro 3 with panels and a backup battery. That, yes, it does run your entire home. Somebody said $48,000 a year is what they pay. $48,000 a year. That's what you would save. Wow. What could you do with almost $50,000? That's only 1 year. If you planted a garden, that would help cut down your food bill. If you planted a garden, listen to me close. If you planted a garden, you ate those fruits and vegetables out of your garden, that would help you cut down on your health care bill because you wouldn't need to go to the doctor every 5 minutes. How would you replace health care? Somebody just asked. You wouldn't replace it. You would make it so you never have to see them. Do you know the secret to staying out of the doggone hospital is not eating this stuff that we buy out of the store? That's the key. That's the reason we go to the hospital. Listen, none of this stuff, think about this. There are very few diseases that really hit us that's natural from birth. There are very few diseases and ailments that hit us from birth. There can be certain handicaps, there can be certain diseases, but those are not the majority that's destroying the human race. The majority of the diseases and the things that's put upon us that we go through while you got to keep going to the hospital, from arthritis on down, mental problems, brain problems, health problems, respiratory problems, are all because of what we put in our mouths. The candy, the cakes, the cookie, the refined sugars, the milled flours, and all the stuff that they do to everything, the extra chemicals and the preservatives and all of that crap that they put and call it food. That's why we're sick. Because it's a scientific, it ain't not meat. It's a scientific proven fact. You can't even say meat. You can't even say meat. Because before this whole industrial revolution, people ate bacon, people ate eggs, people ate toast, people ate bread, people people ate all of the stuff that they tell us not to eat to this very day. Everything that they tell us right now is unhealthy, they ate back in the 50s, 40s, and the 30s. All of it. Oh, not no vegetable oil. They use lard. They cook with butter, bacon grease, and lard. There was no vegetable oil. And the way I can prove it is I'm talking about your Meemaw, your Papa, all of them, they're still alive to this day in their 80s, 90s, and 100s. None of them had a Diet Coke. None of them drank a Diet Sprite. None of them ate no low-fat cheese. None of them ate no low-fat keto bread. They made that food out of real food. They made that bread out of real grains without all of these pesticides and herbicides in it. These people are still alive to this day and healthier than about 60% of us. So it ain't got nothing to do with me. They ate steaks for dinner, pork chops for dinner, fresh chicken for dinner. Nothing was already cooked. Nothing was already processed. That chicken had to be broke down at home. You went and got a whole chicken. You brought it home and broke it down in the sink, and you fried it in lard and flour. And all of our grandparents and great-grandparents are still around to this day. And if they ain't, they lived a long life. There is not one man in my entire family that's missing the hair off the top of his head but me. Every man in my lineage got a head full of hair. And I thought to myself, how did I miss the mark? Because I was introduced into this new revolutionary system of what the hell is this? That's a game show we should play. What the hell is this? You don't know what you're eating. You send your kids to school, you don't know what they're eating. You buy them stuff for lunch to bag their own lunch, you don't know what the hell you just put in their little lunch bag. It's in a plastic wrapper and it's been sitting on that grocery store shelf for probably a year or more. And we put whatever that crap was in our children. Now, back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, there were no fat people. When you seen a fat person, that was like the town fat person. That was like the only fat person in the city. Just like the town drunk, right? Everybody wasn't drunk. That's why they called one dude the town drunk. Because it was one dude that just wouldn't put the bottle down. And you know what? Back in the day, there was always only one or two fat people, even in my day. And you know how they described them? Who you talking about? You know, the dude with a little weight on him. Oh, okay. Because that's how many it was. And here we are. You can't use that description anymore. And I'm not saying to be mean. You can't use that description because everybody is overweight. You can't say, you know, the big dude. Everybody is the big dude now. So I don't want to hear meat. I don't want to hear none of our new age weird fads and crap that we do, because that's not it. The problem is what we do to our livestock now is why it's meat. Because it ain't never had affected us in all these hundreds of years. You're here. Let me tell you something. You are here because your elders and your ancestors ate whatever they had to eat. And there wasn't nan one of them a vegan or a vegetarian. I guarantee you. You're here and blessed to be here and we're listening to one another because somebody in your lineage ate whatever they had to eat, and they were not vegans and vegetarians. There was no such thing. So you can't tell me meat is what killed them, okay? So that's my yogurt getting done right now. So for the people that's asking me, how do you get rid of the health care? We got to change the way we eat. You got to grow your own food to ensure what's going in your pie hole. Because you can't trust them. You couldn't trust them in the first place. And now we got that guy that talks like this and telling you we're going to stop vaccines and children don't need it. We got to, they're killing our kids. We got to. We trust him? We trust that dude? It always looked like he done did a couple of, he done sniffed up a few things back in the back closet, but we supposed to trust him with our food and our health care. And please, that mug always look like he about to go to foaming at the mouth, and he won't keep still or nothing. But he's the say-all, end-all, be-all of our health. I digress. We're doing it wrong. The first thing we should set our kids up with is a freebie. We need to set our next generation up with a piece of land where they could put their cabin and figure this world out. And I'm going to tell you why. While your kids are in that cabin, they're going to want to be part of society because that's the norm. That's what we've all been brainwashed to think, right? We've all been brainwashed to think being part of this society is the way to be. Nobody wants to be an outsider, right? Here's my scenario. You set your son and daughter up with a little bit of land, right? You let them purchase their first cabin like they purchased their first car, something cheap, couple $1,000 little cabin. It don't got to be, hell, let them build one with their bare hands if they want to. Here's the deal. Once that child is in the woods and trying to figure out life, and they still got to go to work, but they still working on their land and working on the cabin, they're going to mess up. They're going to screw up. They're going to mess up like they did with the first car. Only one difference. That's your practice house. The bank ain't coming to get you. Mommy and daddy ain't coming to yell at you. The police ain't coming to get you. You learn right there in that cabin on your own land how houses work, how electrical works, how plumbing works, how solar works. You learn how all of that works in your practice house. Now, if that kid still craves being in society and being part of society, let him go. Let them go get a taste of the real world. Let them go get a taste of real bills and real set up financial responsibilities. If they want to go into society after they've already had their land and their cabin, let them go. They'll be back. Once they figure out that this system is set up for them to fail and to be in debt for the rest of their ever-living lives, they'll come back to the cabin. See, here's the thing. You can let them go and leave that land that you helped them get. They can go off into that world and thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. They can get to that other side and figure out the grass ain't greener and get ruined, financially hurt, emotionally hurt, and everything else. And you know what'll happen? They can always come home for free. Right? They can come back for free. Once they mess up and they come back with their tail between their legs, they failed out there, they can come home. They don't got to do that no more. And even if they want to go back again, they got the chance to go back and try it again. Here's the deal. See how that worked? Long as you got that land and you got that cabin, you can keep going out there messing up. The deal is, it don't work the other way around. You can't go out in that world and mess everything up and then think you can just come back here, buy some land, put a cabin on it, and everything is going to be okay. Hell, I'm living that life right now. Because once you get yourself in this system, once you set your roots down into this system that they have set up for us to fail, it's almost impossible to get out of it. And when you try to get out of it, every time you try to escape this system, they hold you back. Is somebody there to stop you? Is somebody there to throw another wrench in your doggone spokes? Every time. See, if you started out on the land in a cabin with the solar and the water and da-da-da-da-da, you can keep screwing up and it's not going to hurt you. You can keep coming back and hitting the reset button, but you can't do it the other way around. Right? You can't do it the other way around. Once you start in that system, it's hard to come out of it. Once you get tangled up in the way society does you and screws you over, it's hard to get out of it. And I had to make sure that I made all those points, because you know that I'm telling you the truth. Everything that you mess up on your land, in your cabin, and every time something doesn't go right, at the moment it seems like it's going to be impossible to move forward. When you on the land, you ain't got enough money, you ain't got this, you ain't got that, but the land ends up providing for you. The land it's always something when you look around like, well, I guess I really don't need that, or I could use this instead. But when you're in this system, every time you screw up, you owe somebody some money. When you on that land and you in that cabin, every time you screw up, you just screwed up. You got to figure out how to get yourself out of it. You got to come up with some money to help fix this situation. But it's not in such a dire strait that now the bank is coming after you, the police is coming after you, right? Nobody about to put all your furniture out to the curb. But in this world and in this society, every time you doing good, something happened. Somebody in the family passed away, needs you to chip in on the funeral bill. The HVAC system done went out. A window got busted. Somebody broke in your car. Every time you get one step ahead, something happened and knocked you 5 steps back. And every time you do something out in this system, you owe somebody some, I'm trying not to curse. Every time you have a hiccup out here in this system, you owe somebody some money. And they ain't taking no for an answer. They got a bloodthirst when it comes to their debt and their money. They never leave you alone. Now, I'm going to prove my point, and I'm going to end this. I've purchased my land for over 3 years ago. I purchased my land over 3 years ago. To this very day, I do not have a mailbox. To this very day, I do not have a mailbox on my land. You want to know why? Because I don't owe anybody anything for anything on that land. There is nothing that comes to this house either. I picked my deed up in person. They did not mail it to me. When my daughter was out there, I said, you have your stuff sent to the house. Don't have nothing go out there. I don't have a mailbox out there because I don't owe nobody anything for it. There's nothing. I don't get no weird magazines. I don't get no spam callers. I don't get no spam mail or garbage mail, junk mail. I don't get any bills. I don't get a light bill, water bill. I don't get a mortgage bill or rent bill, none of that. I go pay my taxes in person. Now I'm going to leave this video with the question that I asked you earlier. How much could you accomplish if you didn't owe anybody anything? Yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. But for every time and every month that you save $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you calculate that up, multiply that times 12 months. Everything that make you feel uncomfortable from day one, after 1 year, you can build on that with the money that you saved instead of paying a bunch of people that do not care about your well-being. You can put into place. Right now, you live in a cabin. But if you sit here and save up enough money for a year, next thing you know, you're living in a mobile home, or you have a small home built. You buy a tiny home. You buy a normal home, but you buy it cash. That first few years, you taking a little bit of a beating. But after a while, the money that you saved is like going into investing into your solar power, free energy, water consumption, your rain catchment system, your well you had dug, your septic system. All of this stuff starts to come slowly but surely because you're not paying money into this system that's not paying you anything back. All this system does is take. It doesn't give you anything back. And this is the only way that we're going to break that doggone chain. Now, I want to end this video like this. I want to say congratulations to my sister Tia, who just... I want to congratulate everybody in here that has just recently become landowners. No, you did not make a mistake. Yes, it is scary. Yes, you probably don't know what the hell you're doing. But that's the best part. Because you not knowing what you're doing is only going to last for a little while. In a minute, you're going to be teaching others. You bought this land all willy-nilly and you don't know what the hell you're doing. You got a little battery-powered weed whacker thinking that you about to whack about 5 acres of land, and that's how you're going to be cutting the grass. You brought out your push lawnmower thinking you're going to be cutting your 5 acres of land with this little push lawnmower. You're starting out and you don't know what you're doing, but give it 1 year. You're going to be a seasoned pro. Give it 2 years. You're going to know everything what you're doing. 3 years, you'll be teaching others what not to do, what direction to go. Stay away from that. 5 years, you can quit your job and do exactly what you love doing. Nothing. Sitting back, watching the sun rise, sitting back, watching the sun set, starting to move slower and see animals move slower. Look at your surroundings. You don't got time to look at your surroundings. You're always in a hurry. This world, this society, this system got it so you can't stop and pay any attention to anything around you. So you spend all your life and not know what kind of tree this is. This tree may have been feeding you or helping you medicinally all these years, and you never get enough time to pay attention to it. You didn't know that you're out there planting a garden, but you got a natural garden a little bit farther off in the distance. You don't even know. because you're too busy working for the system to do anything. And I'm going to say this, you live at your job. You visit your house. Your work employees, your co-workers, is your family. Your real family is your co-workers. You spend more time at your job than you do at your home. All you do at home is go to sleep. You can't say it's because you eat, because at your job, you eat at your job, you eat 2 breaks, you eat a lunch. You eat more at your job than you eat at home. Sometimes you eat better at your job than you do at home, because ain't nobody about to wait up for you all night to get back. That's why they came up with the term, this is my work wife, my work husband. That's not funny. It's true. It's not to degrade any man or woman in a relationship, but you don't realize after a while that I spend more time with these women in this nurse's station than I do with my own wife. Or you may realize I spend more time with these men in this post office than I do with my own husband. These men know more about me than my own husband do, because all of your ordeals and your feelings and your emotions end up being poured out at home. So all of these men at the post office know that, man, you cutting up. You staying out too late. You messing up. You keep on messing up, man. I'm going to holler at your girl. But I'm just letting you know, bro. You see some weird dude in the store and he's like, hey, man, you need to go into the house. You don't know him from a hole in a sock. But he giving you marriage advice. That's because he know more about your wife than you do. And those women know more about your husband than you do. That is not the way to raise a family. Hell, you don't know your kids is getting suspended until the principal call you. You don't know your kid's been expelled from school. You don't know your kid had a knife in a book bag. You don't know nothing about what your kids is doing until the police come knock at your door. Like, we need to holler at your son real quick. What is this about, sir? I'm just getting home from work. Yeah, he was involved in, we had a little thing going on. Somebody got shot and hurt down at the playground, and they said your son was, what? No, my son been in school. You don't know that because you've been at work. Mama and daddy at work, and your kids is at home making babies in your bed. And planning and plotting crimes. But they keep on wondering what's wrong with the youth. I'll tell you what's wrong with the youth. We're doing it wrong. We're doing it ass backwards. What's wrong with the youth is they got their mama and daddy in bondage, just like back in the slave days. If mama and daddy ain't there to educate their child, the world is going to do it for you. And the world don't want the best for your child. All the world and all this system want your child to do is obey. This world don't care about the feelings. They don't care about their emotions. This system don't care about what your children aspire to be. This system only cares about their backbone and how much work, blood, sweat, and tears they're going to get out of you. If mama and daddy at work, or mama at work, daddy in jail, or vice versa, the system is raising our kids, and they're doing a shitty job of it, and that's what's wrong with the youth. Mama and daddy ain't home. And when they are home, they took all the power away from the adults. They don't want you to punish them. You can't go ahead and grab one of them up. So now they got kids back talking us, giving us a whole bunch of handful of shit, and we got to take it as parents. But if you put your hands on them so they don't go out there and commit a crime, they put you in jail. You go to jail for popping them, for talking about going out here doing a drive-by. You try to tell him I popped him because he was about to go do a drive-by. I kept him from killing a bunch of people because he all in his feelings. So they put you in jail. But if he go out and take your pistol and go do a drive-by, you still going to jail. Tell me where they do that at. That is the system. I'm telling you, we need to break these bondage, break this chain of bondage away from our children, because that's the system I just explained to you, what we deal with every day. There is no winning for us. You damn if you do, you damn if you don't. If you punish your children and you keep them on a straight and narrow, you get punished. If you let your children run wild and be out in these streets crazy, you get punished. I don't want my kids part of that system. I know I'm getting up in age. I know I will never probably be able to accomplish all the hopes, wishes, and dreams that I want to do with my land. But I got something for my kids, Head Start. I got them a practice piece, a practice house, practice land where they can go and get away from society, come in here and bump their heads without getting in any trouble. We are doomed if we don't change this. If we do not fix this and take back the power that we're all given and stop going by what they set up for us and start doing what we're supposed to do as men, women, parents, and guardians, we can't keep living in this same system. It don't work. It don't work. And I'm not scared to say it. Nobody is okay right now. Nobody. And I'm not talking about because of this political administration. It's been this way. It's just way more obvious now. This system is not built for us to win. So we got to get away from the system. If you know that if you know that somebody is going to sell you a losing lottery ticket, would you still buy it? This lottery ticket is $20. It's the last $20 you got. If somebody told you this is a loser, this ticket has already been scratched, would you purchase a ticket, a lottery ticket that already been scratched off to say you lose? Every bubble says no, 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 no. You can't even send this in and be part of the little program and hope to win $200. Would you still purchase that lottery ticket for $20 if it was already scratched off? Absolutely not, you wouldn't. Only a fool would do something that ridiculous. That's what they've been giving us for generations now. A losing lottery ticket that they keep telling you, cross your fingers, I think this one is the lucky one. And you look at the lottery ticket like, hey, all these little bubbles been scratched off already. All the little silver crumbs been scratched off already. I think you gave me the wrong one. No, we gave you the right one. But cross your fingers, still might win something. That's what this society is doing. And you know what we do? We give them $20 and we cross our fingers and hope for the best with a losing lottery ticket. And if we don't stop and break that chain, it's going to always be this way for everybody. We're complaining about the system is screwed up and is rigged against us, but we ain't trying to do anything about it. No, we don't got to go down there and act a fool down at the little courthouse. No, stop giving them your money. Go put your money on your own land, invest your money on your own land, and come out of this system. I was on welfare when I was young. Me and my wife. And I got off of welfare. I wasn't kicked off of welfare. I got off. I volunteered to leave it. I didn't care if I had to work 3 jobs. I couldn't have weirdos keep coming in my house every 5 minutes, seeing how we doing, checking if I'm abusing my children, seeing if my house stank, and if I got rats and roaches. People don't live in the hood telling me how I should live. People that's never lived nowhere close to my neighborhood in this rough life, and they're trying to tell me how I'm supposed to be living. and what level my children should be on. And if I don't comply, they're gonna cut our food stamps. If I don't comply, they're gonna cut off our little whatever it was, $300 or whatever the hell it used to be. I said I'd rather just struggle than to keep having strangers not unannounced come knock at my door and coming and barge in my house like they run this mug. Now this was my daddy's house. But since this was my address, strangers come in my house and they're allowed to wander through my house, look under my mattresses, look for drugs, look for paraphernalia, and all this other, looking all in my kids' mouth like the slave trade. Looking all in my damn cupboards and under my sink cabinets. And I chose to come away from that system because that system was not helping me move forward. The welfare system did not help me advance. It kept me right there under their rule and under their thumb so they could keep doing that and making sure I don't progress. If I made too much money, they cut you off food stamps. If I made too little money, you got to figure out where to make more money because you're not good enough. They keep you right here, right there. You don't make enough money, that's abuse. You make too much money, we cut you off food stamps. Now you can't feed your kids, that's abuse. We take the kids from you. The system is set to make sure you obey. Nothing else. It's not there to help anybody. Why do we keep depending on a system that's only set in place to screw you over? There's a system right now that everybody is getting kicked off of and everybody is boo-hooing and crying. And you know what? That's horrible. But the blow wouldn't have been as bad if you already had something on the side set in place. Get you some land somewhere. I don't care if your grandparents owned it or something. You got something. When they said we cutting off Social Security, be like, damn. I don't know what I'm going to do, but hey, this weekend we need to go look at our old family plot because if this get any worse, that's what we going to do. I'm not worried about losing this because I got a backup plan. And that's what they don't want. They don't want you comfortable. They don't want you to be like, oh, well, let it go then. Oh, it's a water treatment problem. Oh, well, I got water stored up. I got filtration systems and I get rain catchment. Hey, I'm not panicking. They don't want that. This system needs you to obey. And all we're doing is setting our kids up to mess up just like we have, to be in debt just like we are, to owe people money just like we do. To follow their rules, their laws, and regulations at the same time they're breaking them. On my land, I can make my own system. I can make my own rules. I can make my own laws. I'm sorry for ranting, y'all. I had a wonderful conversation with my two sons, man. And my youngest son is dead set on. He is not, when he get out of college, going to be part of this society. He said, I'm going to work out there until I don't have to no more. But I'm not going to live out there. I don't want to be no part of all of this. Because even my baby boy, my son is 20 years old. And he don't listen to me. He don't watch me on YouTube. He don't want to hear what I always be saying. This is his own mind. He see how hard it is to maintain out here as a young adult. He already see the pressure. For instance, his student grant that he earned was late. This payment for school was late. So they wouldn't let him in his classes for last semester. Was it last semester? They wouldn't let him in class for last semester because his payment was late from his grants. He was at the mercy of the grants. And he started to learn and started to understand he don't want anybody to control the outcome of his future. And that's what he's doing. So, with that being said, you guys, thank you for listening. I hope you got something out of this. And I hope you go to your kids or your nephews and your nieces. I hope y'all have a conversation about changing the direction that they're going. Because all they're going to end up is another version of us. Poor, broken, lonely. We can pretend that we're not, but we are. I'm trying to get my kids out of this damn system, this situation. I remember we used to laugh at people and call them hermits and mountain men, weirdos. Them was the smart ones. And now all of us dream about becoming exactly what we used to laugh at. We're all dreaming of becoming that mountain man, that homesteader, that farmer, that gardener, away from all of this nonsense. Everybody, thank you for listening. Take this to somebody and let them know it's another way out of this. But if we don't change this now, we're going to be doomed for a whole nother generation. We already see our generation coming up ain't got nothing better to do but shoot at each other right now. They're bored. They don't have anything to do. They keep wondering, why is these kids shooting at each other? They are freaking bored. Besides video games, what do your kids got to do? This is one last question. Besides video games, what is there for your kids to do? From children to young adults. Why are they getting Hellcats and doing donuts in the middle of the street and having drag races and running people over? They're bored. They don't have anything else to do. If they're not in there on a video game, on social media and doing tic-tac dances, they are bored. It's easy to talk somebody into going to do a drive-by when you're bored. Hey man, want to do a drive-by? I don't see why not. I'm just sitting here chilling. I ain't got to shoot nobody to do it. No, just ride with us. So what? You still going to prison? These kids are bored, man. Hey, want to join the gang? Do I got to do it today? Can I do it tomorrow? It don't matter. You can just join. All right, sign me up. They in the game. They are bored, man. Somebody answer my question. Besides playing video games in the closet some damn where, with a headset and a microphone wrapped around their head like an octopus, what else do these kids have to do? They don't get on sports teams too much no more. Handful of them want to play football. Nobody want to play baseball. Couple of them want to play basketball. But once they get kicked off the team for their street activities, what they gonna do? There is no after-school programs, no culinary arts, no wood shop, no machine shop. They don't have stuff like that anymore. Once your kid cuts the game off, or you force them to cut the game off, they have nothing to do but go and get in trouble. If they was on that land, they wouldn't even be on that video game. They'll be chopping some wood. They'll be patching their roof. They'll be fixing a window, building a extra room onto their cabin. They will be making it more comfortable, running electrical, running plumbing, digging another well, tending to livestock. If they was out there on that land, they wouldn't be no part of this society or this garbage that we have people doing. They will be doing something that's going to help them live longer and be more safe. That's all I got. Everybody, thanks for watching. Lead Farmer 73. Lead Farmer 73. Stay safe. Stay sane. I love you. And I'm out. I hope this helped anybody, because it sure helped me hearing this from my son. All right?